Okay, Xiaomi just launched the Xiaomi Mi 12, the Mi 12 Pro, and the Mi 12X. Right off the top, the Mi 12 and the Mi 12X are extremely similar devices. I will go into each of those devices, then into the Mi 12. First up, Mi 12 and Mi 12X both have a 6.28-inch Super AMOLED display, 120 Hertz, full HD, up to 1100 nits of max peak brightness. These are probably Samsung E4 Super AMOLED panels. Both of them are going to have Gorilla Glass Victus. Great screens, not flagship screens because they're not LTPO, but it's okay given the price point. Now, on to the cameras, because the cameras of both of these are the same along with their storage, being the normal 8 or 12 gigabytes and 128 or 256 gigabytes of UFS 3.1 storage. That's all the same. Cameras. Now, IMX766. Now, IMX766 is a camera that was used on the Oppo Find X3 Pro, and it was also the camera used on the Huawei P50 Pro. It's a really, really good camera from last year, and they're gonna give it optical image stabilization, so you can expect to have good main camera performance on both of those devices. You're gonna have a 13 megapixel ultra wide camera, which I'm not sure which ultra wide unit it is. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the ultra wide camera that Xiaomi's used on some other phones from last year to save costs. And you're gonna have a 5 megapixel tele macro camera. Now those are gonna be the same. On the charging front, you're looking at 67 watt fast wired charging on the Mi 12X for the 4,500 milliamp hour battery, 67 watt fast wired charging on the Mi 12, and then 50 watt fast wireless charging, 10 watt reverse wireless charging also on the Xiaomi Mi 12. Now both of these devices are going to have stereo speakers tuned by Harman Kardon for whatever that means, and they're going to support Dolby Atmos. Again, for whatever that means in Xiaomi marketing terms. And the biggest difference is that one of them is gonna have the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, the other one's gonna have the 2-year-old Snapdragon 865, AKA the Snapdragon 870. Totally fine, but at the price point that these devices are starting at, it's a pretty big difference. Or I should say it's a pretty small difference. The Snapdragon 865 Mi 12X is gonna come in at $500 roughly, and the Mi 12 is gonna come in at $580. So you're gonna pay an extra 80 bucks or so to get the newest 2-year-old newer SoC. It makes it seem like it's a pretty decent deal along with wireless charging and reverse wireless charging. So I think that the Mi 12 is an okay deal, a pretty decent deal. I don't think it's that bad, to be honest. Now, the Mi 12 Pro is Xiaomi's more pro high-end device. The Mi 12 Pro is gonna have, again, same storage, same SoC as the Mi 12. The difference is gonna be the display. The display is gonna be a 6.73-inch LTPO. It's not technically LTPO because LTPO is owned and patented by Apple, but if you guys want a video on that, let me know. It's going to have an LTPO variable refresh rate display from 10 up to 120 Hertz, 1500 nits and 10-bit color with Corning Gorilla Glass Victus. Great display, really, really good display, tons of outdoor peak brightness, variable refresh rate. I think it's gonna be a fantastic display. It's gonna be very much a flagship level display, whereas the Mi 12 and Mi 12X are going to be non-flagship displays. They're gonna be closer to 1.5-year-old displays. Talking about differences between the Mi 12 and the Mi 12 Pro, the biggest difference is the camera. The Mi 12 Pro camera is going to be the IMX707, which is a big, beautiful sensor. It's gonna have an f1.9 aperture lens with OIS. The IMX707 is one of the newer flagship sensors from Sony. Combined with OIS and an f1.9 aperture, we should get pretty good low light images. On the ultra wide front, you're gonna have a 50 megapixel ultra wide, and both the ultra wide and the main camera are going to support 8K and 4K 60 with HDR10 plus support, which is something that the Mi 11T Pro did not have. The Mi 12 Pro is also going to have a 50 megapixel telephoto camera. Now there's been rumors that the 12 Pro is going to have a Samsung JN1 as one of the sensors, which is like a mid-level 50 megapixel sensor from Samsung, but it's a sensor that most mid-range devices use as their main sensor, and it's going to be using it as one of the optional lenses. I love seeing that. Tons of attention to the camera. Another place that the Mi 12 is going to differentiate itself from the Mi 12 Pro is the fact that the Mi 12 Pro is going to have the 120 watt fast wire charging along with the 50 watt wireless charging, 10 watt reverse wireless charging. And they're saying that it's going to have a Surge P1 chip to regulate charging. I am in the process of publishing reviews of the Mi 11T Pro, in which I tried using it with a 100 watt USB-C power delivery charger, and I couldn't get it to use the 100 watt USB-C power delivery. It seems like this charging standard from Xiaomi doesn't adopt the Qualcomm Quick Charge 5. You're probably not gonna have it with this device either. It's not a deal breaker, but I would love to see kind of a more universal charging standard adopted by Xiaomi. That said, all of these devices are going to have USB 2.0, which is a bummer because in this video, Xiaomi showed off their new MIUI for tablets with a desktop mode, and I'd love to be able to plug my really expensive phone into a monitor and get stuff done with it, like editing videos or photos. And let's talk about pricing, because this one is a little hard to swallow. Mi 12 Pro is gonna start at $740. The Mi 12 is gonna start at $580 and the 12X at $500. Now, I think that the 12X is actually a pretty decent deal if you're okay with the 2-year-old SoC. The 12 Pro, it's the same exact device, but with a 2-year newer SoC. So I think that's ultimately, again, a decent deal. The 12 Pro, it seems like it's gonna be a bona fide flagship, depending upon Xiaomi's implementation of software and software features, which at $780, do I wanna buy a $780 Xiaomi flagship? That's a subject for another video. I think overall, these are okay devices from Xiaomi. Nothing about water deterrence, which would be great because I have dropped this device in water and it survived. I'm still using it. Nothing about being able to plug in the USB to a monitor to like leverage that horsepower. So these devices, again, are limited in kind of the same way that we've always been limited by Xiaomi, but they seem like they're decent value, and the 12 Pro seems like a bona fide flagship depending upon how Xiaomi implements the software and the features. Right now, these are China only, so it's up to whether or not Xiaomi is gonna release these at the same price point globally. But at $780 for a global price of the Mi 12, I think that's a pretty compelling deal, especially since it's gonna be going up head to head with something like the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And until next time, it's been Mitchell. Peace.